Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 5 of the Halloween Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing 20 new Halloween papercraft Cricut projects in 20 days. If you've been following along with me for a while, you'll know that I love making papercraft gnomes. So of course, one of the projects for this countdown had to be a little spooky gnome. This wizard is stirring his little cauldron and he's about to add a little spider into the mixture. The SVG for this papercraft is available to download for free for the next 24 hours. If you haven't already registered for your free ticket for the Halloween Craft Countdown, head to craftwithsarah.com/HCC. If you have already registered, here's how to get the file. If you've already registered your free ticket, check for an email from me with subject line Halloween Craft Countdown ticket information, or any of the other emails from me that you have been sent throughout the countdown. Can't find them? Check your junk or spam box to see if they've gone there by mistake. These emails contain the link to view the countdown projects and download today's files. Scroll down this page to find today's project. Click the button to start the files automatically downloading to your computer or mobile device. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/HCC bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files and projects from the Halloween Craft Countdown. All downloads come in zip folders. You will need to unzip them before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, open up Cricut Design Space and start a new project. Go into Upload on the left and then Upload Image. From there, you can either click Browse to find the files on your computer or drag and drop them in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder, and then within there's another folder called Cut Files. When you look in there, there's 3 different versions of this file. For Cricut Design Space, you want the one which starts SVG in the file name. The other ones won't work properly in Design Space, so make sure you choose that one which starts SVG. And then I'll click and drag that in, and it should look like this with all of the layers one on top of the other. If yours looks different and you see all the layers next to each other instead, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file. So if that's the case, click Cancel down on the bottom and then start again and make sure you choose the one which starts SVG. Press Upload on the bottom right, and then it will appear in your recent uploads. Click on it to get the green border around the edge, and then press Add to Canvas. Once it's loaded in, you can see all of the layers down the right-hand side of the screen, and here is my little gnome. I just love him with his little wizard's hat and the spider. He is perfect for Halloween. To resize the design, click on it and make sure your padlock icon here is closed. If yours is showing as open, just click on it to close it. And when that padlock is closed, it means that you can resize it in proportion. So for example, if I changed my width to, let's say 5 inches and pressed enter on my keyboard, you see the height automatically changed as well. So everything stays in proportion and looking exactly as it should. I think I'll do mine a bit bigger though. Let's cut it out at 7.5 inches tall. And that's it. You don't have to do anything else to this file before you get it cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and click Make It on the top right, and then it will separate out all of the colours. You can change the paper size over on the left, and you do need to do this for every different colour, so you'll need to go through them all. To save your paper, you can move the layers around by clicking and dragging and dropping. For example, Design Space put it like this, but that would use pretty much all of a sheet of paper, when actually I could move it up there, and then I'm only going to use the top bit of my card, which means that bottom section can be used for a different project another day. Just be careful when you're resizing that you don't accidentally overlap any of the shapes. For example, on here you see I've overlapped that hand, because if they overlap, it means they're not going to cut out properly. So let's move that back over there. There's a nice gap between them. And then go ahead and do your paper size changes and moving about the layers for all of the different colours that you've got. And then when you're happy with how it's all looking, cut everything out from cardstock and then we'll see how to stick it all together. Here is my wizard gnome all cut out, and I've just laid the layers one on top of the other to check I'm happy with the colours and that I haven't missed anything. He's looking great, so let's stick him together. With all layered designs, you want to start at the bottom and work your way upwards. So let's move these layers apart. I'm going to try and keep similar areas together, just to make it easier to figure out which layers are needed at which point. Let's grab that with the beard. And then finally we're left with these two bottom layers. So we've got the solid and then the detail on the cloak. This one we're going to stick together with glue. The glue I'm using is called Collall. There it is. I really like it because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like some glues can do. And I've put it into this needle tip applicator bottle to make it really easy to get into all of these teeny tiny spaces. So you can see this just glides really easily and quickly. It puts out just the right amount of glue. And I really, really like it. Right, let's pick this up and put him in place. And just wiggle him into position because I missed that a little bit. The nice thing about glue is you do have that wiggle room if it's not quite lined up. And there we go, bottom layer's done. The next layer is the yellow for his cloak. And this is going to be another glue layer because we wouldn't be able to get our foam into the detail around that cloak. It's always nice when the big layers are glue layers because it's much quicker than when they're foam squared. But don't worry, we'll get to the foam. And once again, he's just going to get put on there. Perfect. The next layer is going to make the pattern in the hat, and this one is a foam square layer. Here are my foam squares that I'm using. They come in loads of different brands and sizes and shapes, and any will be fine. These ones are a bit big, so I've cut some in half with a pair of scissors to make them smaller so that I don't have to use as many. I'm just going to place these around the edge. The hat's a little bit tricky. You might need to cut them even smaller with your scissors. And make sure you don't go in any of the holes. Otherwise you'll see your foam squares from the other side when we turn it round. And we don't want that. We want them all to be nicely hidden by the cardstock. So I put a good amount in there in that top bit of the hat to give it a nice firm stick. And then got to put some more in the rest of it down here. I think I cut through these a bit too enthusiastically because I've cut through the base card as well, which is why it's they're all sort of falling apart. We don't normally do this. Obviously it happens when I'm recording video. As well as putting the foam around the edge, you also need to put some in the middle. And that creates a nice stable surface for the cardstock to sit on. If you don't put anything in the middle sections, then you might find that the cardstock domes downwards like that, like kind of an opposite of a bridge. And it won't look as good. You won't get as much of a 3D effect. So I always recommend taking the time to put your foam squares in the middle. And now I'm peeling the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. Let's line this up and then gently drop it down into position. And the reason we're doing that is that this isn't stuck yet, so we could pick it up and move it if it wasn't quite lined up right without damaging anything. But I'm happy with how mine's looking, so I'm just pushing it down to get everything stuck. Our next layer is making the detail on the outline of the hat, and this one's another glue layer. My needle tip bottle is going to make this really easy. Just go all the way around there. And then stick on top, and it will line up exactly with that other blue layer. This is taking shape already, and next we have the beard. For his beard, I'm going to glue this one. You could foam it if you want, but because we've still got so many layers, I don't want it to get too thick that it might not fit in my shadow box, which is why I'm gluing this one. Because he's going to have a rim on the hat as well, which will be foamed. So he's got lots more dimension to come. And then the next layer, the detail in the beard, is also a glue layer. I love how it starts coming to life when you add more and more bits on. Next, there's that rim of the hat I was just talking about, and be careful on this one because we need to add the mouth. So I'm going to put that over to one side. Let's put it there so I can still see it on my little monitor screen, and I hope I remember that in just a second. This will be a foam square layer to give it the little pop out effect from the rest of the hat. So here we go with the foam squares. Again, I'm going to line this up and gently drop it down and then push down when I'm happy. Let's not forget that little mouthpiece. He just needs a teeny tiny bit of glue, and it's easier to put it straight on the blue because it is such a small bit. And then that just sticks on there. Don't worry that it looks weird at the moment. When we put the moustache on, it will make more sense. And then for the rim detail, I've turned this upside down. I'm just adding some glue. This one is very narrow, so be careful with your glue. Probably take a bit more care and attention than I'm doing. I'm trying to rush it a little bit to get through all of these layers. And then that just taps on there. Because this is thin, I don't want to push down really hard because I don't want that glue to smush out the edges. So let's just gently add it on there. Next, we have the moustache layers. And we'll start with the solid one, which is this one, and this will be a foam square layer. We'll start with this solid layer, which will be glued. Again, you could choose to foam this one if you want to add super duper amounts of dimension, but I'm going to glue it. I think it will look better. And we've still got it popped out from the beard because of the foam underneath the brim of the hat. So it is still looking like it's sort of further out and closer to the camera. And then the other layer with the detail, this will be glued too. Just going to move that out of the way. I'll get a few of these strands to give it a little bit of a better stick. And there. So now you see you've just got that little bit of the mouth poking out. It looks a little bit better. Next, I'm going to do the nose, and this will be foam squared. And I think I'll add 2 bits on the back of there. Plop that into place. And next we've got the spider and the hand. And I think I will glue the spider and then use foam for the hand. Make it really look like that hand is gripping it. 1, and then number 2, just one little bit of foam. Make sure you get the angle right. There. He's nearly finished. We've just got our cauldron left to do. And this comes in a few layers. The bottom one, the solid cauldron, we will use our foam for. Next is the swirly layer to add that pattern, which will be a glue layer. For the potion coming out the top, I will glue it. It's easiest on this layer to line it up where the hand is because the potion doesn't quite reach the top of the cauldron. So by doing it here, you just know you've got it in the right place. Next, we've got the stirring stick, spoon possibly, in the cauldron, which is a glue layer. And then last but by no means least, his other hand, which will stick up with some foam. And there we have it. Mr. Wizard Gnome is all finished. Have a look at all of that wonderful dimension in there. He's looking rather fantastic. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make a papercraft Halloween gnome. I just love how he turned out. I think he's really, really cute. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut and crafting tutorials. I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 6 of the Halloween craft countdown. And if you liked this gnome, I have a feeling you'll like tomorrow's craft project too. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!